I hate to say it, but I told you so. I have listed everything in my last podcast as to why we should blacklist Nintendo. Since they refuse to change, they're going to get blacklisted. Let me explain what's going on here. From my last video, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of YouTube channels covering this since of late, but I'm kind of late to the party. But let me catch you up on some things. Um, I'm going to help you guys go over the facts of what's really going on here and help you understand why Nintendo should exactly be blacklisted. Because, number one, if we go through all this, this is the new user agreement, by the way. This is what Nintendo has you signed up for as soon as you purchase your Switch 2. Now, here's the thing. In order to get your Switch 2, you'd have to have 8 months into a Switch 1. 8 months of gameplay time in order to play this on your Switch 2. And of course, stipulation sets to a number of things I can't agree with. And it goes as far as to say Nintendo is just asking for your wallet at this point, nothing else. And this is how greedy it just shows they've become to be at this point in time. So this is the new user license agreement. And if you read this carefully, hold on. Damn it. Nintendo Switch support and users license agreement. In order to use this Nintendo video game system, you must read and accept this agreement. This is an agreement, the agreement between you and Nintendo Corporation, Ltd, together with the subsidiaries. I don't know. Don't worry, my brain is still broken. I can't get it fixed. I don't know what's going on. It's like schizo going back and forth with each and every spark in my brain right now. And affiliates collectively, Nintendo or we are or our and provides you with important information about this Nintendo video game system. Please read all of the uh, previous provisions in this agreement carefully. Yes, carefully, and accept them before using the Nintendo video game system. You are deemed to have agreed to this agreement by using the Nintendo video game system for the first time. If you are under the age of 18, you must get your parents or legal guardian to read and accept all the terms of this agreement. If you do not agree to these terms and conditions of this agreement, you must not activate or use the Nintendo video game system. The terms and conditions of the agreement shall be applicable to all of the users of this Nintendo video game system, and your use or usage of this Nintendo video game system is deemed to be an acceptance of the previous of this agreement. So basically, they're enforcing you to agree upon everything on this list. We're going to go through all those dockets. Now keep in mind, no one else will have you do this except for Nintendo. No one else. Just Nintendo. And yet this is Nintendo standards. Subject to complete or complicit with this agreement, except as otherwise express, uh, provided you will be granted the rights to use software, content, and data which belongs to this Nintendo video game system or which are compatible with this Nintendo video game system and licensed lawfully and separately together with items which are or will be provided by Nintendo or a third party authorized by Nintendo. Collectively, the software on this Nintendo video game system is Singapore. Singapore? I think it's Singapore. In connection with such license, you shall agree to the following items. All right, that one stipulation. All right, so this will tell you if you don't follow within the next line of agreement, your system will be bricked by purchase. Here we go. The software is licensed, not transferred to you, which means you don't own the products that you bought from Nintendo. They still own it. You do not. You're only licensed to it. They are allowed to take it away if possible, or if when possible. The license of the software is a non-exclusive and may be withdrawn by Nintendo at any time, which is what I just brought up previously. You may not use the software for commercial purposes, which means you cannot stream any game or anything related to Nintendo at all. Even recording is prohibited. You may not copy, duplicate, publish, transmit publicly. These modify or reverse engineer the software, which means you can't use third-party things in order to make your console better. Such as if you had stick drift, and this has become an issue for plenty of Switch players. If you had stick drift, you have to take your console apart yourself and replace the sticks yourself just to manufacture the or fix whatever the stick drift yourself and put it back together again. You're not allowed to do that. You are also not allowed to modify your consoles to allow third party applications to a capture card and whatnot, which means you can't air your software towards uh, any videos of any kind or video recordings of any kind, much less stream it, or your console will be bricked. You may not legally modify. I think I just read that. Oh, wait, no. You may not illegally modify this Nintendo video game system itself. It's yeah, peripheral equipment or the software, or may not use any uh, peripheral equipment of this Nintendo video game system or any software which is not authorized by Nintendo, which is something I already brought up. Without notice you or without notice to you, update programs, patches, and system updates. Collectively, the updates may be provided to you in order to add or improve the console's security and function of this Nintendo video game system itself. Its peripheral equipment, the software, and any services available using this Nintendo video game system, collectively, the system. So you're not allowed to modify anything whatsoever. And if you do, the console will then pick it up and then send that signal through or to Nintendo, and then Nintendo will then shut that system down through your account. You may have to accept the updates of the system in order to use a part or all of the system. So that means they're limiting you to any uses of the console itself that you've agreed to. In connection with an update, the system may not be rolled back to the state before the update, which means if they brick the system, it's gone forever. In connection with the updates, with notices to you, the system itself, or the information on the system in whole or in part may be suspended for use, changes or deleted, or changed or deleted. which means they have every right to not only brick your system, but ban you from ever using a Nintendo product whatsoever. In connection with the update, without notice to you, the system with an authorized modifications or an unauthorized system may become unusable, which means they've pretty much bricked your system. You may not use the system in an illegal manner, which means you can't modify it to record or stream whatsoever. They keep going through this cycle over and over and over again just to make sure you understand what you're agreeing to. In connection with the system, you may not perform any action which causes any troubles to or diminishes Nintendo's or third party intellectual property rights and any other right, title, and interest, including personality rights, such as normal rights. So they pretty much tell you as soon as you purchase this, you have to agree to all these things and waive your entire rights. You may not access Nintendo's or third party systems, equipment, accounts, or data without permission. So that just throws everything else you know out the window. Also, our yeah, these articles are the upon the upstarting agreements. They pretty much have you agree to all of this, and once more, once you agree to this, you have waived your right to sue. So every time you purchase something from Nintendo from here on out, past your Switch 2, your account will be upgraded to the agreement, and you are locked in permanently to said agreement, waiving your rights to anything. So you're not allowed to do any streaming, any recording, any modifications whatsoever, or else that notifications goes straight to Nintendo, and Nintendo will then straight from there on brick your system, and you have no right to sue whatsoever. That's all. That's what all of this is about. Okay, they're preventing you from suing them, even though you have agreed to it. You have waived your right to sue once you have agreed to this at all. You cannot sue them whatsoever. So tell me that's not fair. I already know it's not fair. Why should that be fair to you? Because once again, you are not allowed to modify your console because then the system will send a signal to the Nintendo uh, production, and they'll send a signal back saying this is brick now. So they'll shut your whole entire account down. Not only that, your console and your account will be then suspended and banned for life. You can create a new one, of course, but judging by the dedication Nintendo's put into this, the locations locked into the last person who used it will then be bricked. Everything here is pretty much foolproof to not allowing you to, claim that you own anything of theirs whatsoever. You're only licensed to have them or use them or play them whatsoever. Not keep, licensed. They're not yours. In fact, the point of this whole thing being is because you yourself have agreed to Nintendo's bullcrap and provided them with your information, the limited of your use of data, or limited you to their use of data, and so on and so forth. They can do whatever they want with this system because they made it. They won't share because it's nothing they made. This is for them to make more money off of you. And by doing this, they've made so much profit from you already just because you've already agreed to buy a $500 console and an $80 game for each game, but you do not own it. And because you have signed this agreement, you have waived your right to sue. Therefore, this whole shenanigan thing, I'm telling you what, it would be better off if you just, blacklist Nintendo altogether, because this, for the gaming community, is just treacherous. Treacherous beyond repair, and there is no PR that they can do to recover this. Last year, they turned around and sued Palworld for using their so-called quote unquote assets from their games to their game called Palworld. Ridiculous. This year, or I should say early this year, they've bought out websites to not only shut them down, but to use the copies of their so-called pirated games and then or turn them around so that they're reprogrammed to not let you play them. By the time you try to download one, fine, you've downloaded it. Great. You have a false copy of the game. But by the time you get like starting point or mid game, the game will seriously shut down, cut you off, and say buy the real game instead. Nice try. Buy the real game. Quite literally. This is Nintendo's idea for you to purchase their games instead of someone else's. This is their idea of telling you that you don't own anything, not even the right to a Nintendo product, because of all of what's going on here. And let me tell you what brought this all up to this. So, back since when? And we've all knew this was going to happen. But back since when? Uh, we even had GameCube. We've been ripping our files just so that we can digitize things in an order that makes them permanent, so that they don't end up, having to use the scratch game disc or a scratched game disc. There we go. And having to mess with the jumbled file arrangements and messed up discs and whatnot, because they would be so bugged if they were overused, and you don't want that. So somebody came up with an idea to rip the games instead and use your save files from your what do you call it? Nintendo memory card. There we go, memory card. From the data from your memory card in the said file to allow you to continue playing without the console itself. Now, there are devices that they are now aware of that you are no longer able to use because these games are now just licensed, right? So if if they caught you trying to copy the game over to the PC, your console's bricked. If they caught you trying to modify your console whatsoever, your console's bricked. But you can't do anything about it because it was a licensed agreement that you only license the product, not own them. You are banned from their store permanently. Therefore, every single person out there with the Switch 2 right now better be damn careful not to do anything outside of the agreement. Otherwise, banned and bricked. You see, this is why people from Sony are happy, because Sony didn't do this with their players. People from Xbox didn't do this with their players. People from Steam really did the quite opposite for their players. In fact, Steam, or I should say Valve, mind you, when you buy a product, they give you a kit if you didn't have one. If you purchase a kit from them, you can take apart your pretty much VR headset, your Steam Deck, and then modify it to something better. They let you do that. And hell, they even let you replace the sticks for future stick drift issues. They let you do that. I'm not sure about PlayStation. I'm not sure about Xbox, but they don't care if you transfer your controller, uh, your gamepad ID to PC. There's even talks that PlayStation is even letting people use their VR headset on PC. There's like a mod they're selling now for people to use in order to use the marketing VR headset for PC. So basically, everything outside of Nintendo is used commercially. Any way you want. Nintendo just shows how greedy they are just by doing this. So this is something you personally agreed to. This is something that you have to live with. But by the time you're done, you have to come up to a realization your system's bricked because you turned around and did something outside of the agreement. You are banned because you turned around and did something outside of the agreement. And there's nothing you can do about it because the agreement states that you cannot sue them for it because you waived your rights signing the agreement. Period. No one else, just Nintendo. I'm King Willix. I'm pretty sure we just blacklisted Nintendo forever because they sure as hell ain't going to change. And this is your Steam Stream podcast. See you on the next one. Peace.